Hello, my beautiful friends. I want you to take a deep breath with me right now. Just breathe in slowly and breathe out gently. Feel yourself settling into this moment, into this space we're sharing together. You know, there's something so precious about the fact that you're here with me today. It tells me that you're ready for something different. You're ready to step away from those feelings that have been making you feel small, weak, or powerless, and you're ready to embrace the magnificent strength that lives within you. I want you to know that I understand exactly why you're here. Life has a way of knocking us down sometimes, doesn't it? There are moments when we feel like we're swimming upstream, when everything seems too hard, too overwhelming. There are times when we look in the mirror and wonder where our power went, where our confidence disappeared to. We might feel like we're walking through life on shaky ground, uncertain of our next step, questioning our worth, our abilities, our very right to take up space in this world. You might be going through a difficult time right now. Perhaps you've experienced a loss, a disappointment, or a setback that has left you feeling vulnerable and fragile. Maybe you've been carrying the weight of other people's opinions for so long that you've forgotten what your own voice sounds like. Or perhaps you've been in survival mode for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to truly thrive. Whatever has brought you to this moment, I want you to know that you are not alone and you are not broken. You see, feeling weak or powerless is one of the most human experiences there is. Every single person who has ever walked this earth has felt this way at some point. It's not a character flaw. It's not a sign that you're not spiritual enough or strong enough or good enough. It's simply part of the human journey. But here's what I know to be true, and I've seen this thousands and thousands of times. These feelings of weakness are not permanent. They are not who you are. They are simply clouds passing through the sky of your consciousness, and like all clouds, they will move on. The beautiful thing about being human is that we have choice. In every single moment, we have the power to choose a different thought, a different feeling, a different way of being in the world. This power hasn't gone anywhere. It's been there all along, waiting patiently for you to remember it, to claim it, to step into it once again. Today, we're going to explore how to do exactly that. We're going to discover together how to transform those weak feelings into unshakable inner strength. Now, I'm not going to tell you that this transformation happens overnight, because that wouldn't be honest, and you deserve honesty. But I am going to tell you that it can begin right now, in this very moment. The seed of your strength is already planted within you. We're simply going to learn how to water it, how to give it the light it needs to grow into the magnificent oak tree it's meant to become. So let's journey together, shall we? Let's explore what it really means to eliminate weak feelings and step into the kind of strength that no external circumstance can ever take away from you. The kind of strength that comes from knowing deep in your bones that you are worthy, you are capable, and you are loved beyond measure. When we talk about weak feelings, we're really talking about a whole family of emotions that can make us feel small and powerless. These feelings might show up as fear that seems to grip us from the inside, making our hearts race and our minds spin with worry about all the things that could go wrong. They might appear as doubt, that nagging voice in our head that tells us we're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough to handle whatever life is presenting to us. Sometimes these weak feelings show up as helplessness, that sinking sensation that nothing we do matters, that we're at the mercy of forces beyond our control. Other times, they might feel like overwhelm, as if life is moving too fast and asking too much of us, leaving us feeling like we're drowning in responsibilities and expectations. We might experience them as inadequacy, constantly comparing ourselves to others and finding ourselves lacking, or as powerlessness, feeling like victims of our circumstances rather than creators of our own experience. These feelings didn't just appear out of nowhere. They developed over time, often starting when we were very young. Maybe we learned to feel weak because the adults around us were overwhelmed themselves and couldn't provide the security and confidence we needed. Perhaps we picked up these patterns from watching others in our family struggle with their own sense of powerlessness. Sometimes these feelings develop because we've experienced real trauma or loss that genuinely left us feeling vulnerable and afraid. Our minds are incredibly efficient learning machines, and they're always trying to keep us safe. So when we experience situations where we felt powerless or weak, our minds file away that information and start looking for similar patterns in the future. This is why a feeling that started in childhood can still be affecting us decades later. Our subconscious mind is still trying to protect us using strategies that might have worked when we were 5 years old but don't serve us anymore as adults. The thing about weak feelings is that they tend to feed on themselves. When we feel weak, we often start thinking thoughts that make us feel even weaker. We might tell ourselves that we're failures, that we never do anything right, that other people are so much better at life than we are. These thoughts create more weak feelings, which lead to more negative thoughts, and before we know it, we're caught in a downward spiral that feels impossible to escape. But here's something really important to understand. There's a difference between experiencing temporary weakness and living in chronic powerlessness. Temporary weakness is natural and human. It's what happens when we're tired, stressed, grieving, or facing new challenges. This kind of weakness is actually healthy because it signals to us that we need to rest, to seek support, or to take better care of ourselves. Chronic powerlessness, on the other hand, is when we've made weak feelings our identity, when we've forgotten that we have any other options. The beautiful truth is that weak feelings are not verdicts about who we are, they're signals. They're our inner wisdom trying to tell us something important. Maybe they're telling us that we need to set better boundaries with people who drain our energy. Maybe they're showing us that we've been neglecting our own needs for too long. Perhaps they're pointing to old wounds that are ready to be healed or outdated beliefs that no longer serve us. When we can see weak feelings as messengers rather than permanent residents, everything changes. We can thank them for the information they're providing and then consciously choose to respond from a place of strength rather than react from a place of fear. This shift in perspective is the beginning of true transformation. Your body is constantly responding to your thoughts and emotions, creating a continuous feedback loop between your mind and your physical experience. When you think thoughts that make you feel weak or powerless, your body responds accordingly. Your shoulders might slump forward as if you're trying to make yourself smaller and less visible. Your breathing becomes shallow, taking in just enough air to survive rather than the deep, nourishing breaths that fuel vitality and confidence. When weak feelings take hold, you might notice that your chest feels tight or heavy, as if there's a weight pressing down on your heart. Your stomach might clench with anxiety, or you might feel a sinking sensation in your gut. Your jaw might tighten, your hands might shake slightly, or you might feel an overall sense of fatigue that seems to come from nowhere. These physical responses aren't separate from your emotions. They're part of the same system, working together to create your overall experience of life. On the other hand, when you embody strength, your entire physiology changes. Your spine naturally straightens, creating space for your lungs to fill completely with each breath. Your shoulders relax and open, creating a sense of expansiveness in your chest. Your breathing deepens and slows, sending signals to your nervous system that you are safe and in control. Your muscles relax but remain alert, ready for action, but not tense with fear. The energy of strength feels completely different in your body than the energy of weakness. Strength has a quality of groundedness to it, as if you're connected to the earth beneath your feet and drawing power from that connection. There's a sense of space and openness in your torso, room for your heart to beat freely and your lungs to expand fully. Your head sits comfortably on your shoulders, neither hanging down in defeat nor held rigidly high in false bravado, but resting naturally in a position that allows you to see clearly in all directions. This connection between your thoughts, emotions, and physical body is one of the most powerful tools you have for transformation. Because just as weak thoughts create weak feelings and weak posture, you can also work in the opposite direction. When you consciously adjust your posture to embody strength, you actually begin to feel stronger emotionally. When you deepen your breathing, you automatically calm your nervous system and create space for more empowering thoughts to emerge. Right now, I want you to try a simple experiment with me. First, let yourself slump forward slightly. Drop your shoulders, let your chest cave in a little, and take a few shallow breaths. Notice how this makes you feel emotionally. You might find that even this small change in posture makes you feel more vulnerable or less confident. Now, gently straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back and down, lift your chest slightly, and take 3 deep, slow breaths. Feel the difference? This is the power of the mind-body connection working in your favor. Your body is constantly sending information to your brain about how safe you are, how strong you are, and how capable you are. When you consciously choose to embody strength in your physical posture and breathing, you're literally rewiring your nervous system to support feelings of empowerment rather than weakness. This isn't about pretending or faking it until you make it. This is about using the wisdom of your body to support the transformation of your inner experience. The beautiful thing about this mind-body connection is that it's always available to you. No matter how weak you might be feeling emotionally, you can always take a deep breath. You can always straighten your spine. You can always choose to ground your feet on the earth and remember that you have a right to take up space in this world. These simple physical adjustments send powerful messages to your subconscious mind that you are ready to step into your strength. The next step in our journey together is to gently explore the specific patterns that trigger those weak feelings in your life. This isn't about judging yourself or analyzing yourself to death. It's about becoming a loving observer of your own inner landscape, like a gentle scientist who's curious about how things work but not attached to making anything wrong. Each of us has certain situations, thoughts, or interactions that tend to activate our weak feelings more than others. For some people, it might be when they're asked to speak up in a meeting or share their opinion in a group. The moment they're put on the spot, their mind goes blank, their heart starts racing, and they feel like that frightened child who's afraid of saying the wrong thing. For others, it might be when they're facing a deadline or a big decision. Suddenly, they feel overwhelmed and incapable, as if everyone else got a manual for how to handle life and they somehow missed getting their copy. Sometimes weak feelings get triggered when we're around certain types of people. Maybe it's someone who reminds us of a critical parent or teacher from our past. Maybe it's people who seem more successful, more confident, or more together than we feel. We might find ourselves shrinking in their presence, second-guessing everything we say, or feeling like we're not worthy of being in the same room with them. Financial situations often trigger weak feelings, too. When bills pile up or unexpected expenses arise, many people immediately drop into a state of panic and powerlessness. They start catastrophizing about worst-case scenarios, feeling like victims of circumstances beyond their control. The fear takes over, and suddenly they can't see any solutions or possibilities, only problems and limitations. Relationship conflicts are another common trigger. When someone is upset with us, or when we need to have a difficult conversation, those old feelings of weakness can flood back. We might find ourselves people-pleasing, avoiding the conflict altogether, or giving away our power to keep the peace. We might hear ourselves saying yes when we mean no, or staying silent when we have something important to say. The internal dialogue that accompanies these weak feelings is usually pretty harsh and unforgiving. We might hear ourselves saying things like, "I can't handle this," "I'm not strong enough," "Everyone else has it figured out except me," or "I always mess things up." These thoughts aren't just random. They're often replaying old messages we received when we were young and vulnerable. Maybe a parent or teacher told us we were too sensitive, not smart enough, or that we'd never amount to anything. Maybe we absorb these messages from watching the adults around us struggle with their own feelings of powerlessness. What's so important to understand is that these patterns aren't permanent fixtures of who you are. They're simply habits of thinking and feeling that developed over time. And like all habits, they can be changed. The first step is simply noticing them without trying to fix them or make them go away immediately. When you catch yourself in one of these patterns, you can gently say to yourself, "Oh, there's that old feeling again. I see you. I understand why you're here." This kind of gentle acknowledgement is so much more effective than fighting with yourself or trying to force the feelings away. One helpful way to explore your patterns is to think about the last few times you felt really weak or powerless. What was happening in your life? Who were you with? What thoughts were running through your mind? What did you believe about yourself in those moments? As you reflect on these experiences, you might start to see some common threads. Maybe you notice that you always feel weak when you're tired or hungry. Maybe you realize that certain environments or certain people consistently trigger these feelings. This awareness is incredibly valuable because it allows you to start preparing differently for situations that might be challenging. If you know that you tend to feel weak when you're hungry, you can make sure to eat nourishing meals before important events. If you know that certain people tend to trigger your insecurities, you can take a few moments to center yourself before spending time with them. This isn't about avoiding challenges or difficult people. It's about being strategic and compassionate with yourself as you build your strength. The most powerful thing you can do as you explore these patterns is to approach yourself with infinite gentleness and compassion. These weak feelings developed for good reasons. They were often your psyche's way of trying to protect you in situations where you genuinely were vulnerable or powerless. That little child within you who learned to feel weak was doing the best they could with the resources they had available. Honor that part of yourself while also recognizing that you now have many more resources and much more power than you did when these patterns first formed. Now, here's one of the most life-changing truths I want to share with you. In every single moment of your life, you have the power to choose. You have the power to choose what you think about. You have the power to choose how you respond to situations. You have the power to choose which voice in your head you listen to. You have the power to choose how you treat yourself. This power is always available to you, even when you can't feel it, even when you forget it exists. When we're caught in weak feelings, it often seems like we have no choices at all. It feels like life is happening to us rather than through us. We feel like victims of our circumstances, our past, our emotions, or other people's behavior. But this is an illusion, albeit a very convincing one. The truth is that even in the most challenging situations, even when our options seem limited, we always have the power to choose our internal response. This doesn't mean that we can control everything that happens to us. We can't control other people's behavior. We can't control natural disasters. We can't control economic downturns or global pandemics. But we can control how we relate to these external circumstances. We can choose whether we respond from fear or from love. We can choose whether we focus on what's wrong or what's possible. We can choose whether we see ourselves as victims or as powerful beings who are learning and growing through every experience. Every time you choose a thought that empowers you rather than diminishes you, you're exercising your choice muscle. Every time you choose to speak kindly to yourself instead of critically, you're building your capacity for strength. Every time you choose to take one small action toward your goals instead of staying paralyzed by fear, you're proving to yourself that you are more powerful than your circumstances. The beautiful thing about choice is that it works cumulatively. Each small choice you make in the direction of strength makes the next choice a little easier. It's like building physical muscle at the gym. At first, lifting even a small weight might feel challenging, but as you keep practicing, you get stronger, and what once felt impossible becomes easy. Your capacity for choosing strength over weakness grows the same way. Sometimes the choices we make seem tiny and insignificant. Choosing to take 3 deep breaths instead of holding your breath when you feel anxious. Choosing to stand up straight instead of slouching when you feel insecure. Choosing to speak one kind word to yourself instead of launching into a litany of self-criticism. These small choices might not seem like much in the moment, but they're actually revolutionary acts of self-love and empowerment. One of the most powerful choices you can make is the choice to see your challenges as opportunities for growth rather than evidence of your inadequacy. When you're facing a difficult situation, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you can choose to ask, "What is this situation here to teach me?" Or, "How can I use this experience to become stronger and wiser?" This simple shift in perspective can transform your entire experience of difficulty. Another profound choice is the choice to focus on what you want to create rather than what you want to avoid. Weak feelings often come from focusing all our attention on what we don't want to happen, what we're afraid of, or what we're trying to prevent. But when you choose to focus on what you do want to create, on the kind of person you want to become, on the kind of life you want to live, you align your energy with possibility rather than limitation. The choice to treat yourself as your own best friend rather than your worst enemy is perhaps one of the most transformative choices you can make. When you catch yourself in the middle of self-criticism or self-doubt, you can choose to ask yourself, "What would I say to my best friend if they were going through this?" Then you can choose to offer yourself that same kindness, understanding, and encouragement. Now let's explore some practical tools that you can use to build your inner strength, tools that are simple enough to use anywhere, anytime, but powerful enough to create real transformation in your life. These aren't just theories or concepts. They're concrete practices that you can begin using immediately to shift your energy from weakness to strength. The first tool is what I call the strength breath. This is a specific way of breathing that sends immediate signals to your nervous system that you are safe, grounded, and in control. To practice the strength breath, place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4, allowing your belly to expand while keeping your chest relatively still. Hold your breath gently for a count of 4, then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6, making a soft ah sound as you release the breath. The longer exhale is key because it activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for the rest and digest response that counteracts stress and fear. Practice this breath whenever you notice weak feelings arising. Do it before important conversations, during challenging situations, or any time you want to reconnect with your inner strength. The beautiful thing about the strength breath is that you can do it anywhere without anyone even knowing. You can do it in the bathroom before a big meeting, in your car before walking into a difficult situation, or lying in bed when worry is keeping you awake. The second tool is what I call power posture. Your posture has a direct impact on your confidence and sense of personal power. When you carry yourself like a strong, confident person, you actually begin to feel stronger and more confident. The power posture involves standing with your feet hip-width apart, feeling your connection to the earth beneath you. Let your arms hang naturally at your sides or place your hands on your hips. Lift the crown of your head toward the sky, lengthening your spine. Relax your shoulders down and back, opening your chest. Take up space. Breathe deeply. You can practice power posture anywhere. While you're waiting in line, walking down the hallway, or even sitting at your desk, you can adjust your posture to embody strength. Notice how different you feel when you're slouched and contracted versus when you're standing or sitting tall and open. Your posture is constantly sending messages to your subconscious mind about how powerful you are, so make sure those messages are empowering ones. The third tool is the thought shift technique. This involves catching disempowering thoughts in the moment and consciously choosing more empowering alternatives. The key is not to fight with the weak thoughts or try to force them away, but to gently redirect your attention toward thoughts that serve you better. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I can't handle this," you might shift to, "I'm learning how to handle this," or "I have everything I need to figure this out." If you notice the thought, "I'm not good enough," you might shift to, "I'm doing my best and that's enough," or "I'm growing and learning every day." The goal isn't to think only positive thoughts all the time, which would be unrealistic and inauthentic. The goal is to become aware of your thought patterns and to consciously choose thoughts that support your growth and well-being rather than tear you down. This takes practice, just like learning any new skill, but it gets easier over time. The fourth tool is what I call energy anchoring. This involves identifying specific physical sensations, mental images, or words that you can use to quickly access a state of strength and confidence. Think of a time in your life when you felt genuinely strong, confident, and capable. Maybe it was when you accomplished something you were proud of, when you stood up for yourself or someone else, or when you felt deeply connected to your own power. As you recall this experience, notice what it felt like in your body. Notice your posture, your breathing, the sensations in your chest and belly. Notice any words or phrases that come to mind. This becomes your energy anchor. You can return to this anchor anytime you need to reconnect with your strength. Simply take a deep breath, adjust your posture to match how you felt in that powerful moment, and allow the sensations and feelings to flow through you again. With practice, you can access this state of strength in just a few seconds, even in challenging situations. These tools work best when you practice them regularly, not just when you're in crisis. Set aside a few minutes each day to practice the strength breath, to embody power posture, to practice shifting your thoughts, and to connect with your energy anchor. The more you practice these tools when you're feeling relatively calm and centered, the more available they'll be to you when you really need them. Affirmations are one of the most powerful tools we have for rewiring our minds and hearts towards strength and empowerment. Think of affirmations as loving conversations you have with yourself, gentle but firm declarations of the truth about who you really are. They're not about pretending that everything is perfect or denying your current challenges. They're about planting seeds of new possibility in the fertile soil of your consciousness. The reason affirmations work so beautifully is that your subconscious mind is always listening to what you tell it, and it believes what you repeat to it consistently. If you've been telling yourself for years that you're weak, not good enough, or incapable, your subconscious has accepted that as truth and has been creating experiences that match those beliefs. But when you begin to consistently speak new truths about yourself, your subconscious mind begins to accept those new beliefs and starts creating experiences that align with your newfound strength. Let's start with some core affirmations that speak directly to building inner strength. The first one is simple but profound. I am stronger than I know. Say this with me now, out loud if you can. I am stronger than I know. Feel those words resonate in your body. This affirmation acknowledges that your strength isn't something you need to develop from scratch. It's something that already exists within you, that you're simply remembering and claiming. Another powerful affirmation is, I choose thoughts that empower me. This affirmation reminds you that you have control over your mental landscape. You're not at the mercy of whatever random thoughts happen to pop into your head. You are the conscious director of your inner dialogue, and you can choose thoughts that lift you up rather than tear you down. Here's one that's particularly helpful when you're facing challenges. I have everything within me to handle whatever life brings. This affirmation connects you to your innate wisdom and resilience. It doesn't promise that life will always be easy, but it affirms that you have the capacity to meet whatever comes your way with grace and strength. For those times when you're feeling overwhelmed, try this. I take life one step at a time, and each step leads me to greater strength. This affirmation helps you break down overwhelming situations into manageable pieces while affirming that every challenge you face is actually building your capacity for handling future challenges. When you're struggling with self-doubt, this affirmation can be incredibly healing. I trust my inner wisdom and my ability to make good decisions. So often, weak feelings come from not trusting ourselves, from constantly second-guessing our instincts and our choices. This affirmation helps you reconnect with the wise part of yourself that knows what's right for you. The key to using affirmations effectively is consistency and feeling. It's not enough to just mumble affirmations while you're thinking about something else. When you speak an affirmation, really feel it in your body. Say it with conviction, even if you don't fully believe it yet. Your belief will grow as you continue to practice. Timing matters too. Affirmations are most powerful when your mind is relaxed and open, which is why many people find them particularly effective first thing in the morning or last thing at night. But you can also use them throughout the day whenever you notice weak feelings arising. Keep your favorite affirmations written on small cards in your purse or wallet, or save them in your phone so you can access them quickly when you need a boost. Mirror work is a particularly powerful way to practice affirmations. Look into your own eyes in the mirror and speak your affirmations directly to yourself. This might feel awkward at first, but it's incredibly healing because it allows you to connect with yourself in a deep, authentic way. The eyes are the windows to the soul, and when you look into your own eyes while speaking words of empowerment, you're communicating directly with your deepest self. You can also create your own personalized affirmations based on your specific challenges and goals. If you struggle with speaking up for yourself, you might create an affirmation like, my voice matters, and I express myself with confidence and clarity. If you tend to feel overwhelmed by responsibilities, you might say, I handle my responsibilities with ease and grace, taking care of myself along the way. The most important thing to understand about affirmations is that they're not magic spells that instantly change your life. They're tools for gradually shifting your internal landscape from one of limitation to one of possibility. Be patient with the process and with yourself. Some days your affirmations will feel powerful and true. Other days they might feel like empty words. That's completely normal. Keep practicing anyway, because even on the days when they don't feel particularly meaningful, you're still planting seeds that will eventually bloom into new beliefs and new experiences. One of the most important steps in building lasting strength is learning to release the thoughts, beliefs, patterns, and energies that no longer serve your highest good. We all carry around mental and emotional baggage that weighs us down and keeps us stuck in cycles of weakness and limitation. This baggage might include old grudges, outdated beliefs about ourselves, painful memories, or ways of being that once protected us but now hold us back. Releasing doesn't mean forgetting or pretending that difficult things never happened. It means choosing to stop allowing past experiences to dictate your present reality. It means letting go of the victim consciousness that keeps you feeling powerless and stepping into the understanding that you are the author of your own story from this moment forward. One of the most common things that keeps people trapped in weak feelings is the belief that they are victims of their circumstances. This victim consciousness shows up in thoughts like, life always happens to me, I never get a break, other people have it so much easier than I do, or I can't help the way I am because of what happened to me. While it's absolutely true that we all face real challenges and that some people have faced more difficult circumstances than others, staying stuck in victim consciousness keeps us powerless to create positive change in our lives. Releasing victim consciousness doesn't mean denying that you've faced real hardships or that you haven't been genuinely hurt by other people's actions. It means choosing to focus on your power to respond rather than your powerlessness over what happened. It means shifting from asking, "Why did this happen to me?" to asking, "How can I use this experience to become stronger and wiser?" Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools for releasing what no longer serves you, but forgiveness is often misunderstood. Forgiveness isn't about condoning harmful behavior or pretending that hurtful things didn't happen. It's not about becoming best friends with people who have hurt you or putting yourself back in harmful situations. Forgiveness is about releasing the emotional charge that painful experiences have on your present moment reality. It's about setting yourself free from the prison of resentment and anger. Often the person we most need to forgive is ourselves. We carry around so much guilt and shame about past mistakes, poor choices, or times when we weren't as strong as we wish we had been. This self-judgment keeps us trapped in cycles of weakness because we're constantly reinforcing the belief that we're not good enough or that we don't deserve to be happy and powerful. Forgiving yourself might sound like this: I forgive myself for all the times I didn't stand up for myself. I was doing the best I could with the awareness I had at the time. Or, I forgive myself for staying in situations that weren't good for me. I was learning important lessons about my own worth and boundaries. Or, I forgive myself for the choices I made from fear rather than love. I'm now ready to make different choices. Another powerful practice for releasing what no longer serves you is energy clearing. This involves consciously letting go of old emotions, beliefs, and patterns that keep you stuck. You can do this through visualization, where you see yourself surrounded by healing light that dissolves anything that doesn't belong in your energy field. You can do it through movement, shaking your body, or dancing to literally shake off old energy. You can do it through writing, where you write down everything you're ready to release and then burn the paper as a symbolic act of letting go. Breathwork is also incredibly effective for clearing old energy. As you breathe deeply and consciously, you can breathe in fresh, empowering energy and breathe out anything that feels heavy, stuck, or limiting. With each exhale, you're making space for something new and beautiful to enter your life. The process of releasing is ongoing, not a one-time event. As you grow and evolve, different layers of old programming will surface to be healed and released. This isn't a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're ready to go deeper in your healing and transformation. Each layer you release creates more space for your authentic strength and power to emerge. Building sustainable inner strength isn't about having one powerful breakthrough experience and then coasting on that high forever. True strength comes from consistent daily practices that reinforce your commitment to yourself and your growth. These practices don't have to be complicated or time-consuming. Small, consistent actions are much more powerful than grand gestures that you can't maintain over time. Your morning routine sets the tone for your entire day, so this is a beautiful time to incorporate practices that connect you with your strength. You might begin each day by placing your hand on your heart and taking 3 deep breaths while setting an intention for how you want to show up in the world that day. You could look in the mirror and speak one affirmation that feels particularly relevant to what you're facing. Or you might spend a few minutes journaling about what you're grateful for and what you're excited to create. Physical movement is incredibly important for maintaining your connection to your personal power. This doesn't mean you need to become a marathon runner or spend hours at the gym. It could be as simple as stretching for 5 minutes when you wake up, taking a walk around the block during your lunch break, or dancing to your favorite song in your living room. When you move your body with intention and appreciation, you're reinforcing the message that you are strong, capable, and alive. Journaling is one of the most powerful daily practices you can develop for building inner strength. Writing helps you process your thoughts and emotions, gain clarity about what you're experiencing, and track your growth over time. You might spend a few minutes each morning writing about your intentions for the day, or a few minutes each evening reflecting on what went well and what you learned. Here are some powerful journaling prompts that can help you build strength. What made me feel strong today? How did I honor myself today? What old pattern am I ready to release? What new belief am I ready to embrace? How can I be more loving to myself tomorrow? Creating boundaries is another essential daily practice for maintaining your strength. This means saying no to requests that drain your energy or compromise your values. It means limiting your exposure to negative news or toxic people when possible. It means protecting your time and energy like the precious resources they are. Boundaries aren't about being selfish or uncaring. They're about being responsible for your own well-being so that you can show up as your strongest, most loving self for the people and activities that matter most to you. Feeding your mind with empowering content is also crucial for sustaining your strength. This might mean reading books that inspire you, listening to podcasts that teach you something new, or watching videos that make you laugh and feel good about life. Be intentional about what you allow into your mental space, because everything you consume either adds to your strength or detracts from it. Evening practices are just as important as morning ones because they help you process the day and prepare for restorative sleep. You might spend a few minutes reviewing what you accomplished that day, no matter how small. You could practice gratitude by writing down 3 things you appreciated about your day, or you might do a brief body scan, thanking each part of your body for supporting you and sending love to any areas that feel tense or tired. The key to maintaining these practices is to start small and be consistent rather than trying to do everything perfectly. Choose 1 or 2 practices that feel most appealing to you and commit to doing them for just a few minutes each day. As these become natural habits, you can gradually add more practices or deepen the ones you're already doing. Also, be gentle with yourself when you miss a day or forget to do your practices. Perfection isn't the goal, progress is. Every time you choose to return to your practices after missing them, you're strengthening your commitment to yourself and proving that setbacks don't define you. Now, let's take a moment to connect with the most empowered, confident, strong version of yourself. This isn't some fantasy person you might become someday if you're lucky. This is the real you. the you that exists underneath all the layers of doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs. This powerful version of yourself has been there all along, patiently waiting for you to remember who you really are. Close your eyes for a moment and feel into this empowered version of yourself. How does this person carry themselves? Notice their posture, their breathing, the way they move through the world. This strong version of you walks with confidence but not arrogance, with purpose but not rigidity. They know their worth and they don't need external validation to feel good about themselves. How does this empowered version of you handle challenges? They don't avoid difficulties or pretend problems don't exist, but they approach challenges with curiosity rather than fear. They see obstacles as opportunities to grow stronger and wiser. When they make mistakes, they learn from them without drowning in self-criticism. When they face setbacks, they feel the disappointment, but don't let it define their sense of self-worth. This strong version of you has healthy boundaries. They say yes to opportunities that align with their values and goals, and they say no to things that drain their energy or compromise their integrity. They surround themselves with people who appreciate and support them, and they lovingly distance themselves from those who consistently bring them down. In relationships, this empowered version of you communicates honestly and directly. They express their needs and feelings without attacking others, and they listen with genuine interest to what others have to say. They don't try to control or fix other people, but they also don't allow others to control or diminish them. This strong version of you has a beautiful relationship with themselves. They speak to themselves with the same kindness and encouragement they would offer a beloved friend. They take care of their physical health not from a place of vanity or obsession, but from genuine love and appreciation for their body. They pursue goals and dreams not to prove their worth to others, but because they believe they deserve to live a fulfilling, meaningful life. The most beautiful thing about this empowered version of yourself is that they're not perfect, and they don't try to be. They understand that strength isn't about never feeling afraid, sad, or uncertain. Real strength is about feeling those emotions fully when they arise and then choosing how to respond from a place of wisdom and love rather than reacting from fear and limitation. This powerful version of you already exists within you right now. Every time you choose a loving thought over a critical one, every time you stand up for yourself or someone else, every time you take action despite feeling afraid, you're embodying this stronger version of yourself. Every practice you do, every affirmation you speak, every moment of self-compassion you offer yourself, you're strengthening your connection to this empowered aspect of who you are. The journey from weak feelings to unshakable strength isn't always linear. There will be days when you feel incredibly powerful and other days when the old patterns try to reassert themselves. This is completely normal and doesn't mean you're failing or going backwards. Growth happens in spirals, not straight lines. Each time you cycle through a challenging pattern, you're actually going deeper and healing at a more profound level. Trust in your own capacity for transformation. You have everything within you right now to create the kind of inner strength that can weather any storm and celebrate every victory. You are so much more powerful than you know, so much more resilient than you realize, and so much more worthy of love and respect than you may currently believe. As we come to the end of our time together today, I want you to take a moment to appreciate yourself for being here, for being open to growth, for being willing to look at your patterns and choose something different. The very fact that you've stayed with me through this entire journey shows that you're already embodying the strength you're seeking to develop. Take a deep breath with me now, and as you exhale, feel yourself releasing any remaining doubt about your ability to transform your relationship with strength and power. You are not the same person who began this journey with me today. Something has shifted, something has awakened, something has remembered itself within you. The path forward is illuminated with possibility. Every day, you have countless opportunities to choose strength over weakness, love over fear, empowerment over limitation. Each choice you make in favor of your own growth and well-being sends ripples of positive change throughout your entire life and touches everyone around you. You are a magnificent being, worthy of love, respect, and all the beautiful experiences life has to offer. You have unique gifts to share with the world, and those gifts can only flow freely when you're standing in your full power. The world needs your strength, your wisdom, your compassion, and your light. Go forward now with confidence, knowing that you carry within you an unshakable core of strength that no external circumstance can ever diminish. Trust yourself, love yourself, and never forget how truly powerful you are. Until we meet again, surround yourself with love and watch as your life transforms in the most beautiful ways. You've got this, my dear friend. You absolutely have got this.